Hello, this is Lady Boulay, and I hope you're having a wonderful day. Thank you for your support. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. Thank you for your comments, and thank you for your thumbs up. Thank you for all you do to support the channel. And yes, we are commanded to love one another, whether we want to or not, or whether we agree with each other or not. Well, today I'm going to tackle a subject that a lot of people won't touch because they're afraid of being misunderstood. But I'm going to touch this subject. I'm going to do it with as much clarity and as much dignity as I can. But I'm going to touch this subject. So here we go. Many Black immigrants would actually have a better life, and Black Americans would face far less strain if institutions stopped funneling newcomers into our communities without preparation, resources, or cultural orientation. Black Americans are who we are. We are not required to change because someone else arrives with expectations that we never agreed to meet. So when people come over here saying Black Americans did this to me and Black Americans did that to me, well, you came into a space where Black Americans were already operating. And if you had stayed in your homeland and made that what it was supposed to be or what you wanted it to be, then you would not have had to suffer whatever it was you suffered at the hands of Black Americans. Many immigrants arrive with these deeply unrealistic expectations about America, and especially about Black Americans. And these expectations come from different places: foreign media, government propaganda, stereotypes taught abroad, misinformation about Black American history and culture. So these newcomers arrive here expecting instant opportunity, instant prosperity, and a Black American community that somehow failed despite being in the United States. That's what they come here thinking, and then reality hits. And instead of questioning the propaganda they were fed, the frustration often gets misdirected at Black Americans who had no role in shaping those narratives. And here's the key: Black Americans are not obligated to soften ourselves, shrink ourselves, or adjust our identity to fit somebody else's fantasy. Immigrants are placed directly into Black American neighborhoods because Black American neighborhoods are the most politically unprotected and underfunded. They're not put there because it's the best place for the immigrants, and definitely is not best for the Black community. They're put there because it's the easiest place to put them without pushback. And what happens once they get to those neighborhoods? Housing becomes more competitive. Social services get stretched thinner. Local resources, already inadequate, get divided even further. And then there's cultural misunderstandings. And these cultural misunderstandings create tension. And Black Americans are expected to absorb all of this and not say anything about it. It's just as hard on Black Americans having those people in their neighborhoods as it is for those people who make it clear from day one that they're not satisfied being in those neighborhoods. But only Black Americans are expected to be endlessly patient, endlessly flexible, and endlessly accommodating. And that is why I say the best thing for many of these Black immigrants who are coming here is to stay at home in their homelands and make their homelands what they want them to be, instead of coming to somebody else's country with these highfalutin expectations and expecting other people to meet those expectations. And let's talk about this, because this is something that never gets mentioned. Black American students already attend some of the most underfunded schools in the country. Then, without warning, schools receive students who need language support, translation, specialized services, and cultural orientation. But the school doesn't get extra funding. The teachers don't get extra staff. The classrooms don't get smaller. So, what happens? Black American students who were already underserved get pushed even further to the margins. And again, Black Americans are not required to sacrifice our children's education because institutions refuse to prepare for the populations they bring in. They just bring all of these people in and plump them down in the Black American community. And these people already have prejudices against Black Americans. But who's suffering though? Our children are suffering. Their education is being diminished because all of these people coming in needing services that our students don't even need. And it is important for people who are bringing these immigrants into this country to realize that cultural differences are important and they are real. Not bad, not wrong, just real. And when these things are ignored, these differences create conflict. We have different communication styles, different hygiene norms, different expectations of authority. We have different social cues about what's right and wrong, or about what's acceptable and not acceptable. We have different ideas about community, and we have different ideas about race, and these things matter. And when nobody prepares either side, misunderstandings turn into tension. Then the narrative becomes Black Americans are unwelcoming, when in reality, Black Americans were never asked, never prepared, and never supported, and we are not required to change our culture to make newcomers comfortable. Now, this never gets said, and that's why these newcomers called immigrants get on social media platforms complaining and critiquing Black Americans because nobody told them Black Americans are not required to change anything because you came on the scene. And when I say many immigrants would be better off staying home, I'm not saying don't come. That's not my call. I'm saying if your country is struggling, the long term solution is not mass immigration, it's building institutions where you are. Because when the most ambitious or educated people leave, the home country loses the very people who could help stabilize it. And meanwhile, Black Americans get blamed for corruption abroad, civil wars abroad, economic collapse abroad, things we had absolutely nothing to do with. Black Americans are not responsible for global instability, and we are not required to carry the emotional weight of other nations' crises. Here's the truth. Immigrants deserve safety, dignity, and opportunity. Black Americans deserve the same. But when immigrants are dumped into our communities without preparation, without resources, and without cultural orientation, it harms both groups. And when immigrants arrive with expectations shaped by propaganda, not reality, disappointment is guaranteed. And let me say it again. Black Americans are who we are, and we are at home. We are not required to change our culture, our identity, or our boundaries because someone else arrives with fantasies about us. It's just as hard on us as it is on them to have them dumped into our communities. And we deserve to say that out loud. Boundaries are not hostility, truth is not hate, and clarity is not cruelty. The reality is America is stretched to the limits. Everybody seems to come here thinking that this country was tailor-made for them. So whatever they thought America was supposed to be, that is what America is supposed to be. And if it turns out that America is not exactly like that, then Donald Trump was right when he said it. They started complaining. When in fact, the best thing for people like that was to have done was to stay at home and build their country into their dreamland and not run somewhere else expecting somebody else or some other country to fulfill their dream. Okay, y'all, thank you for listening. Let me know what you think about this video. Give me a thumbs up. Keep warm out there and have a wonderful evening.